well. I know you were recently diagnosed with dyslexia and later discovered through research that there is a link between creativity and dyslexia. In fact, you pushed me to kind of read a little bit more about that. So can you talk to us a little bit about what you discovered from your research, how it affected the way you look at your art right now, and your future collaboration with some dyslexia researchers?
Yes, of course, this topic is really complex from the science standpoint. The reason I sought the diagnosis of dyslexia was because I noticed that I was having troubles with standardized testing, believe it or not.
We all do, so.
But I was very, very, very special in that. So I was trying to really find out why do I struggle in standardized testing, and it goes without saying that when you take a test and you fail, it's just really a very bad feeling, especially if you're an adult, especially if you have children, that they go to school and they take exams. And I remember Ali, when he was in, I think it was in first or second grade, they were in the school, they were making some prayers, and I was taking my boards, and Ali stood up and said, I want to make prayers for my dad to pass his boards. And then the teacher was very impressed because he was the only first or second grader who can say pathology. So anyway, so what happened is that I was always trying to find out what is it. By accident, I came across a documentary that it's called The Big Picture, talks about dyslexia. I pursued this further. I did some research, and then I had a friend of mine refer me to an expert in this area, and we went through 11 hours of testing. They test everything, test IQ, math, vocab, all kinds of testing, and it came back with a very clean profile of dyslexia, and the professor who tested me, Dr. Miller, she's a professor at UCLA, she gave me a report and told me that there were a few things that were very unique about that, and it highlighted, for example, that I have a very strong auditory memory. And it seems like a compensatory mechanism, because when you read, dyslexics, they are slow readers, and when they read, they don't process. It's a processing issue. So therefore, as a compensatory mechanism, I rely on hearing. So if I hear something, I seem to have a very good auditory memory. So that also made me kind of think that there is something in the dyslexia. And then I came across a book called The Dyslexic Advantage, and it talks about the advantages that dyslexics have. So just to be brief, in the area of creativity, it's one, there is a structural difference in the brain of dyslexics. And that structural difference results in the way that they see things. It's more of a big picture, not fine detail. So for me, I practice with pattern recognition. And so for example, I'm told I could never be a civil engineer, but I could be an architect, because there's more of a big picture thing. So that's one difference. The other difference would be they have very strong interconnected and narrative reasoning. So that results in them seeing things differently. So their exposure to certain things can result in a different reaction, and then their memory is more episodic. They rely more on the episodic memory, which is different than the semantic memory, which is like impersonal. The episodic memory is like everything that happens to you as a child. It's a story, you remember it, and different than the other things that are more semantic memory. So all of these three things, and I'm oversimplifying it, results in the person with dyslexia become more creative, and they find them a lot. And in business, they also have a different style. So it's a different thing, and there are a lot of they're highly represented in entrepreneurs, for example.
Oh, this is great. I'm glad that you're pursuing this as a research initiative as well. So we're hoping to hear more and more about this.